We got a nice one from the amazing Megyn Kelly.
At the future of the Democratic Party. If you've been watching any left-wing media of late, you have probably noticed that they were excited about both of the major candidates who ran in the primary to be the Democrats' nominee for Senate in Texas. James Tallarico, a Texas state rep who is a Christian minister in training, faced off against Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who, as viewers of this show know, is well known.
I don't know why they're calling Tallarico Christian minister in training. He has a very wack philosophy when it comes to his version of Christianity. I call it the Austin Christianity, which is not the Christianity that maybe me or you practice. It's the Christianity that is quote unquote inclusive. It's the watered down of the things that Christians are not even supposed to do. Both of them are not good for Texas. They're not going to win. People, see, Texas Democrats were very hopeful after Beto O'Rourke. There was a guy called Beto O'Rourke that, he ran against Ted Cruz at a time when Ted Cruz was not too popular and didn't win, came close, but didn't win. So it gave Democrats this illusion that they had a chance here in Texas. They've really never had a chance.
Known for making some of the wildest claims of anyone in the Democratic Party, and also appears to be a ridiculous diva who has her staff carry her bag around for her, carry her little pillow around for her, stuffing it behind her back so she's seated just so while she's on the Hill, acting like she's there as, Queen Elizabeth, as opposed to a duly elected House representative. Also, somebody who goes from sounding like a normal American from Texas when she gives her interviews when she first gets elected to someone who sounds like she's from the street when she's in front of a certain camera set with the eyelashes and the fake nails. Okay, so there's absolutely nothing genuine about this person. And it turns out Texans knew it. For the folks on MS Now, you're thinking about these two, Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett. Well, they could not decide who they loved more. Watch.
Especially by Crockett and Tallarico. They're two of the most effective communicators in the entire Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, when we were seeing the leaderboard there, so you see them on your screen right now, and so they look like a great pair of running mates. You know what I mean? Can one of you just be vice senator? Can we do that?
Who would actually watch that for entertainment? I mean, truly, like, who is sitting down at night after a hard day at the office saying, I want to spend time with Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow? Like, I would have to have a lobotomy in order for that to be my choice. Well, unfortunately, Rachel, there's no such thing as a vice senator, and only one could win. And last night, despite Jasmine Crockett whining about election fraud and pulling a last-minute legal challenge.
Yeah, that woman was blaming Republicans for her loss. She was blaming Republicans for her loss in the Democratic primary. I think whenever out of birth, they just teach them how to complain. When they go through school, there is a section of the curriculum that teaches them how to complain. Like, and all I've heard all these years living here is just a bunch of complaining people, man. They are doing it at the congressional level. They're doing it at the grassroots level. This is just a generation of men and women that just complain and complain and complain. It's always other people's fault, but theirs. She was never going to win this thing. She knew she wasn't going to win it. She was cooked the moment that those redistricting lines were redrawn. That was the end of her political career.
Challenge out of her hat. Tallarico prevailed. Crockett's role on the national stage is likely over, at least for now. And I have to say,
she'll get a job somewhere on TV, MSNBC, and all these other places. Or I don't know if she has a YouTube channel. They all do. All the congressmen have YouTube channels now. They are YouTubers. Some of them even do thumbnails. Lindsey Graham does thumbnails, right? So obviously it's money. You know, I don't want to knock their hustle, but I look at people like Jasmine Crockett and I'm like, yeah, she has a future in media. I don't hate her. I just think she was a lazy rep. Her district was trash. It's almost inhabitable for the most part. It's really trashy part of Dallas. And she didn't do anything. She wasn't even there. Like she has, there's something on X, I gotta find it, where they map out how many times they visit their district, and she's at the bottom of that list. Like she was barely here. Because this is not how she grew up. This is not how she grew up. She didn't grow up in a ghetto-like environment. She didn't care for her constituents. You know, I think she looked down on them. She probably didn't think they were up to her standards. This woman went to private school. She grew up in an affluent suburb of St. Louis. Why would she come and represent the poorest and the bottom of the barrels in the Dallas area? Like she picked up one of the poorest districts to represent. And she was never there. That was her saying, hey, I just need you guys to send me to Congress, but I don't care about you. And that really reflected in how she did things. She was more louder in the media spaces than she was effective on the ground. She was a horrible, horrible legislator. She had, I don't know, no bills passed. She didn't pass a single bill. Throughout her tenure, the 3 years that she's been there, she's not passed a single bill. So that's a horrible candidate. That's a horrible legislator and a horrible candidate all combined.
She will be missed. Who else is going to give us moments like these?
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses. We're going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country. The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. You're not. We done picking cotton. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct? I know that there was a time and a place, and if they could, they would throw me back in chains.
If you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
Stop being Putin's hoe. Now, I am tired of the white tears.
You could speak directly to Elon Musk. What would you say?
Fuck off. But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Violence doesn't come from Democrats, just to be clear. I mean, obviously anyone can be a criminal, but it is MAGA. They expect Democrats to kind of be the nice guys that we are. Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we going to punch back, but we're about to beat you down.
I've got to be honest. She's about 5 minutes away from getting a show on the weekend at MSNBC. That's clearly where life is going now. Her House seat was basically all but eliminated, but she left it anyway, so it's no longer hers. And she didn't make it in the Democrat primary. It's not like she lost in the general. She couldn't even get through the Democrat primary in her home state of Texas. So that's done. So yeah, I'm thinking given the love that was espoused for her on the set by Rachel and Nicole, you know, maybe one of them will be willing to give up their spot for a black woman in America.
No, they won't do it. They don't believe in that stuff. I watched a reporter, you know, one of these street interviews. I watched one of these street interviews, and a reporter approached a white liberal woman and asked if she would let two illegals come live with her short term, like just spend a little bit of time there while they're transitioning into regular housing. And she wasn't having it.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? White privilege, ladies, move aside. Jasmine Crockett needs a job. Or maybe they'll just give her Tiffany Cross's old show, which I think ran on the weekend. Tiffany Cross then later got fired, let go for either misstating her finances on her accounting or just being a general racist. Same with Joy Reid.
That's the thing too. Like people always want to call people on the right racist and xenophobes and all these terms. But if you look at people's records, like if you actually analyze what people do, not what they're being blamed for, but what people actually do, you find that most of the people that really practice racism and discrimination are leftists. They are horrible people for the most part. Not everybody, but for the most part, they are horrible people. I think she's done politically. This is the end of Crockett. It's a good thing. We won't have to deal with her and her bullshit.